What is good, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is JustClark, and today I'm back with another tutorial video. And today, as you can see at the title, it is how to draw an anime girl tummy. First thing, we're gonna break it down. I'm just gonna break down what are the parts that are inside, and so we can have an understanding of where the areas of shadow and light will be, depending on whatever lighting scenario. That's the goal. Whatever lighting scenario you want to put, you can just know where to put the shadows and the highlights and be able to control it yourself. So we're gonna start off. This is where the rib cage is, around right there. That is the rib cage. Boom. Right, and then we have right here where the abdominal muscles are, right on there. We also have this area right here, which is where muscle dips. This is where the rib cage ends, and there's gonna be some shadow down there. Whenever you're putting shadows, always just remember form. That's the most important word when you're working on shadows. Got the lower belly that goes down into the pelvic area right here. We got the thighs with, look at that, you even got a thighs tutorial right here. Very nice. You can only get it here. And yeah, I'm just blocking out where there will be shadows. And so, alright, cool. Now let's actually get into coloring. Now I'm gonna select, whenever I'm coloring skin, I go 3 tones. Oh no, not 3 tones, like 5 tones. So slowly just move hues a little bit and move right, saturate it a little bit, and just block out my palette. Alright, let's get into actually coloring. And we're just gonna start blocking out the areas of, big areas of shadow. So what I'm talking about earlier, if we look, oh shit, it's very zoomed in. If we look over to this, we have this shadow right here. This part right here. Like that. Alright. So we're just gonna do that same thing as well. Just block it out first. Do not worry if it does not look good, because in art there will always be an ugly face, right? There's always be an ugly face, but you just gotta stick to the vision. Cool. Now over here, there's the hip bone. So whenever you're gonna shade this, always remember that there will be this area around here where the hip bone protrudes. So just keep that in mind, so when you're shading, it doesn't look flat. You know that the hip bone exists over there, so yeah. Yes. Alright, nice. Now we're gonna go, actually, I'm gonna take my airbrush. It's called soft brush, but it's pretty much my airbrush, and put the base color back a little bit in some areas, because when you have shadows that are transitioning from dark to light very harshly, it gives a harsh transition and it does not look soft, and we want it to look soft. Unless you want, muscular, athletic character, then, make it softer, because soft is cool. Fua gang, we out here. Alright, now for here, I like to lightly add it on areas. So let's say right here, I'm just gonna add a touch. Alright, you just gotta feel it out, literally. Look, add a touch there, and okay, so now we're at this second shading phase. I'm gonna blur some areas. I'm gonna take my blur brush and blur some areas to soften them up. Right, next we're gonna add the fort. This phase, I like to make everything just pop. Basically push areas forward, push areas backward, whatever. So let's say right here, I'm gonna add that. Then boom, push that area forward. Boom. See how it pushes it forward a lot more? Yay. And this area right here, obviously the lower belly. Really want a transition there. So just boom. There we go. Alright, now I'm at the last step. I'm gonna take my solid. And for this part, I'm just gonna go with the not the big shadows, but the solid shadows. Boom. Now don't worry, it looks very harsh right now. But that's okay. Just gotta be patient. Just gotta take things one step at a time. Then we're gonna blur it. Hey, look at that. Blur gang. Blur gang. But yeah, there we go. Now we've added the deeper areas. I can fix this with just selecting the color near the shadow and just airbrushing it. Just so it's not too harsh. Boop, boop. Now we're at the fun part. We're gonna bring this to life. And no, not literally, alright? So first I'm gonna just grab a general reflection light, which is blue because, you know, sky. And just add it near areas of deep shadow. And just the opacity. It should be subtle, not super visible. Alright, cool. Next we're gonna go just normal layer and select a pinkish red tone, kind of like that. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna add this to areas where there is a lot of blood flow. And adjust the opacity. I'm just gonna soften things up a little bit. At this part, you're just really finalizing the feel of how you want it, which is what I'm doing. Forever. There we go, look at that. So pretty much just block things out first. As you can see, it went through a not so nice looking phase, but now that I've rendered it a little bit more, it's looking way better. And we got two last steps. So I'm gonna go overlay. Now select an orange color. Basically where there is shadow transitioning to light, I'm gonna add orange. Now what this does is it gives a smoother transition from shadows or midtones to highlights, because the skin is a smooth surface, and also there's subsurface scattering and all those terms. You don't exactly have to remember it, you just gotta know what works, but it's a cool thing to say, you know, oh, because subsurface scattering, because there's subsurface scattering with the skin. And just adjust the opacity. You could also use screen for this if you'd like. And yeah, look, I'm not sure if screen actually works better or overlay, but look around this area right here. See that? See that? It looks a lot, you know, better transitioning. It's very subtle, it does not have to be extremely obvious, but the feel it gives and how it really helps when you look in the details. You know, not everybody's going to notice it, but you know you did good. You know you're like, ha, yeah. Okay, And we're nearing the last bars. A key tip for understanding how you shade this is just you gotta know the big shapes. And once you have those big shapes blocked out, you can just add details, remove details, soften things up from there. And yeah, last we're gonna go whatever. You could go hard light, you could go add. The good thing about this is if you're not happy with the color and everything, you could just, when they're on a separate layer, you could just adjust it with hue, saturation, and brightness, and that kind of stuff, and just change it up. And there we freaking go. Now, a quick recap. The first important thing, let me remove all of these layers, go back to the base, is just break things down first into the important areas, which is below the boing boings, know where the rib cage ends so you know where to put the shadow, this area where the actual belly is, right here. It's not like this whole freaking thing, it's just in the middle part, and these are like your obliques, the side hip muscles, the hip bone, very important part, do not forget. We got the inner thighs, we got with this lower belly transitioning down to the pelvic area, and right here because we have the knees around this part, so we're gonna have shadow over here. Then next up is add a little bit of the ambient light, bounce light, because if there's a light source, there's no completely black or shadowed area. There will always be light bouncing around and shit like that. Next, I'm gonna put some red tones where there's a lot of, the blood vessels are near the skin. And then we put either an overlay or a screen layer of orange where there's shadow transitioning into highlights or like the midtones. Then I actually switched it up, added a little bit of hard light first just to give it a little bit more pop, really bring stuff out instead of a harsh transition into just the add layer. So yeah, I'm just transitioning things smoothly, and lastly, if you'd like, just put the add layer and see the difference with and without the hard light. Bring it out a little bit more and just adjust the opacity to your liking. And yeah, that's how I color anime girl tummies. And obviously I'm still not at the level of my favorite artists, but I just broke things down into simple parts and very understandable without going deep into anatomy, going all scientific. It's just, gotta know the shapes, gotta know the important areas. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope this has helped you. So thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed. Check out my Pixlr, check out my Twitter down below just to see my illustrations and all that stuff, because I'm pretty active there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. The outro.